afternoon to all my viewers and my subscribers. This is Jah-P's Post Talk. I'm here in Barbados, my viewers, and guess what I meet up with? Mr. Kirk Edwards, former West Indies and Barbados cricketer. Mr. Kirk, how are you doing, man?
Good, boss.
Yeah, man, nice to meet you, man.
You too, buddy.
Yeah, man, I see you play over the years, and it's a pleasure coming to Barbados and meeting you.
Nice.
Yes, man. So, we'll get started,
Let's go.
How did it started with Kirk Edwards as a cricketer?
Well, it started at the age of, I would say, 3 years old, having my dad play cricket, all my uncles play cricket. And I always used to get my granddad to bowl at me and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then my mom enrolled me in a cricket program with Mr. Richard Straker at Alexandria Secondary School, which I later then went to that school, but I just went down there and he was like, he's too small. And mom said, well, just leave him, let him just chase the balls and send him back. So that's how it started. And then when she came back for me one day, I was, batting and bowling with the big boys. And so I always played with guys older than myself.
Yes.
So I always had that passion for it. It was always brave. And it always just felt right. It just felt like that's something that I need to be doing.
Yes. So how do you think cricket has changed your life overall from a tender age compared to now?
Well, cricket definitely taught me discipline. It also taught me, teamwork, unity.
Yes.
When you go and get stuff, your stuff gets going. So, in a strange way, cricket really shaped me for life. It filters into all aspects of my life because even though I don't play cricket now, I still have the discipline to get up and go and take a run. Eat properly. Look after myself, be on time. But there's certain things with the game that you cannot compromise. The game is a game of time.
Yes.
It always starts on time unless, there's a rain affected or something.
Yes,
so it really teaches you discipline. You really need to be a very disciplined person and have some structure. You also have to prepare.
Yes.
Because if you fail to prepare, then, prepare to fail.
Yes. So you have to go ahead.
So it's a process. Cricket really teaches you about processing them.
Yes. All right. So one other question now. Who is your favorite player?
My favorite player, it varies, because I played with Chris.
Yeah.
I think Chris Gill that I'm speaking about. I think he's an amazing cricketer, and in terms of all-round ability and stuff like that, he's quite different to how I play, but certainly in this era, I think he's probably one of the greatest that we've ever seen, even in the West Indies. Right?
Yes.
Before Chris was, Brian Lara, and before that was Sir Vivian Richardson.
Okay, so
I had, different people at different times, so it's kind of difficult. But Chris is the one who I played with.
Yes.
And I've seen him do amazing things. I was there on the spot. I was, sometimes at the other end.
Yeah.
So, I go with that guy right now.
Okay. All right. So one other question I want to ask you, right? How does it feel to score a century on debut?
Boy, it was a very unreal feeling. But I tell you what, in the first innings, I got given out off the helmet.
Yes.
But I was so confident going into that series because I've been scoring a lot of runs in A-team for Scottish cricket. So, I was on the rhythm.
Yeah.
So when I got that unfair dismissal in the first innings, the umpire actually told me that he apologized the next morning at breakfast, which was too late. But my dad was there, never forget. My dad is passed now, but he was there and he couldn't eat. He was nervous. I told him, don't worry, I'll score 100 in the second innings.
Yes.
And I was so confident. That in my ability, I've been doing so much work and I sort of dot my I's and cross my T's. So I was confident that all I needed to go out there and do was follow the process and the result will look after itself.
So, but then compared to those decisions umpire making, wrong decisions compared to where technology is now, how do you love that?
Well, it's part of the game because even now, I played in times where technology came into play and I got given out and I reviewed and I was not out. But I was not able to refocus because I was so accustomed that when a guy gave you out, you sort of shut your mind down. So I wasn't able to. I think that's something I didn't get accustomed to because I didn't play a lot with reviews.
Yes.
So that was my experience when it comes to reviews. Because when I was playing, it would have been a transition from, normal umpiring to then reviews. So I didn't play much with reviews.
Yes.
Right? And I found that it hindered me in that way that when the guy give me out, and it was almost like my mind started shut down. It was very difficult to get it back up.
Okay, so you
That
just
was my challenge with that. So,
yes. So in terms of where you see West Indies cricket right now, how do you like the improvements that they have been making over the past 10 years, 5 years?
well, I think West Indies cricket always is a struggle because they don't play enough cricket. You know,
Yeah,
when you go to international cricket and you're playing against guys that have 100 and something odd first class games,
yeah,
and you only played 22 games. You know, he's more, not that he's a better player than you, but he's more experienced in terms of dealing with failures, you know, recovering from failures. He's probably more experienced in terms of different conditions. He's definitely more experienced in terms of overs in his legs, you know, playing the amount of games, so endurance, you know, these kind of things. But you play in the Caribbean, you probably play what, 10 games a year max. You're
yes,
playing against people who play 20 something games a year,
yeah,
you know, so you're not able to handle ebbs and flows, peaks and troughs as well as the seasonal pros.
yeah.
So that's where 18 cricket did well for me because in this limited first class cricket setting, I was then able to go and play 18 cricket versus seasonal pros from
Yeah.
other places and gain a lot of experience. So and also the facilities for training, I find, when I was playing, are way better overseas. So you get a lot more work done in a shorter period of time.
Okay.
In these parts, you guys only tend to have facilities when cricket is coming up, but you
Yes.
don't need, you need to have facilities all the time. You can't
Yes.
just practice when cricket is coming up. You got to be practicing all year round, you know.
Yes. Keep it
And
safe.
also, your facilities need to be as close to what you're gonna get out there in the actual game.
Yes.
Because if I go in the net and it's not prepared properly, how do I then transition into, you know, a
Yeah.
game
Thinking
playing
about the
properly?
actual game.
It gets me into bad habits, you know.
Yeah.
So certain things need to, they need to pay more attention to. I think the infrastructure of cricket, they need to pay more attention to facilities and, you know, preparing the players, giving them enough cricket to play. I've always suggested that you do player exchanges and you let guys go overseas and play in different tournaments where they could get exposure
Yes.
because there's not enough cricket here to expose the guys.
Well, you touch on a volley one point there, right? Like, based on where you see these cricketers playing regionally, do
Yeah.
you think they are disciplined enough in terms of to get contracts overseas and even getting to play for the West Indies? Do you think that they're working hard enough?
I think they work very hard with very limited resources. I think that if you give them the opportunity to be in a more structured, hard-working environment, they'll kill it.
Yes.
Because just look at how guys from now, from the Caribbean, go to IPL. We have all stars in IPL.
Yes.
Before it was county cricket. When West Indies cricket was on top, every single superstar that we had in West Indies cricket was attached to a county. What did it teach them? They already had the talent. What did it teach them? It taught them professionalism,
Yes.
being in a professional setup, having to report to the office every day.
Yes.
So we come from a semi-pro environment, and then we go to a professional environment with our talent. As long as we're open to learning and receptive,
Yes.
then we become phenomenal players worldwide. And you see it now, the IPL right now represents to West Indies in the short format what county cricket represented to West Indies in Test cricket.
Yes. So with the T20 arena right now, how has it evolved your life and how do you think it evolved other cricketers' life now?
Well, personally, I didn't play a lot of T20 cricket. I had um I had a bit of hiccup in my career by the time that was coming in. You know, my career got, I would describe it as a caught in the political web. But
Yeah.
I've seen, you know, and I got a lot of friends who play T20 cricket. What T20 cricket did was, you know, liberate the modern cricketer
Yes.
financially because when you're playing cricket and then you have to think about, but most of us come from, you know, not so well off families.
Yes.
So even if the average person is thinking he's making a lot of money,
Yes.
then his family is not so well off. So he's gonna have an uncle who needs something, an aunt, you know, a cousin. So the money is not his.
Yes.
Yes, we come from families, right?
Yes.
So what T20 cricket allowed is for guys to get out ahead financially and start to structure their own training take a flight there, train there with this guy, take a flight there, train with this guy, and improve the quality of living in some cases for the entire community. I would hope.
Yeah.
But T20 cricket is definitely put people on the map in different ways because it's a more commercial game.
Yes.
So people that you wouldn't normally know from the Caribbean,
Yes. They are there.
they're there now.
So we see where you make some stints there in the ILT, the Masters League. How do you like that?
Well, I love Masters cricket basically because the um, it gives the option to have that camaraderie. As you can see, Fidel's there looking at me now. He's just a right, but it
Yeah.
gives us that camaraderie. We played together back in the day, and now we come together and play as older guys, and we play against guys that we play against over the years from different teams. So it's nice to catch up. I'm just thinking, meeting up with Hashim the other day. I'm the guy that I played with and against, and that was beautiful. So the relationships, and the fact that you get back on the stage. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you stop playing, you miss the stage.
Yeah.
As you're custom playing and people in the stands going,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden your life gets quiet. Right?
Yeah.
So it's still an opportunity to go there on the platform, and the kids can watch you playing as well. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Just gonna touch on a little point here, right? Kirk Brathwaite recently quits as captain. Do you support him, or do you think he should have loved Cricket West Indies to determine if he gets to play his 100 Test match, or do you think it was the right decision?
Well, I mean, I don't know the intricacies of the situation. Obviously, Craig would have made a decision based on his feeling or thoughts. I don't think you just pull these things out of the sky. That's not a decision that a guy just gonna wake up tomorrow and make. He probably been thinking about it or having discussions with it
Time on.
over time with his family, etc., etc. But I think it would be a good thing to do for him to play, for them to allow him to play 100 test matches.
Yes.
I don't think you want to bring a guy to
98.
98 test match. That happened in my career. I played 99 first class game,
Yeah.
and I thought it was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know, who does that.
Yes.
Because as you know, in cricket, 100 is a milestone.
Yes.
So that is something that affected me.
Yes.
And I don't think that any organization that's worth its salt should discard somebody at 98 games. How is he getting enough
Yeah.
to play 98 but not two more?
See,
That
that's what.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, or one more. So
Yeah.
I'm totally against that. Unless the guy is really, really struggling and his health or his fitness is so these are things that then affect other generations coming on. Guys looking on. Let's say the guys that look up to Craig, they look at how he's been treated,
Yes.
then it breeds a very insecure
Yes.
environment.
Yes.
Right? And that's I live that.
Yeah, but this is a thing that we see been coming from time to time with Cricket West Indies, and because it happened even with Shivner and Shandapal in the past, and
When you say cricket West Indies, it's a body, but I mean this body is consisted of human beings. So different personnel is there at different times when it comes to making decisions.
Yeah.
So whoever is going to be there and making decisions still have to, consider humanity and consider continuation and what this decision that you made now, how would it impact the next generation that's coming? Because the last thing you want to do is breed an insecure environment.
Yeah.
Because how am I going to come out here and work for you and put my neck on the block for you if you don't have my back?
So if Cricket West Indies was to give you a call tomorrow and says that, Kirk, we want you to be a part of our management team, would you take that call?
I mean, gladly, I would definitely anything that is in tune with helping the next generation because I've been blessed to play cricket, give it my best, travel the world, do what I had to do, and I don't think there's a better life.
Yeah.
But I mean, there might be. You might have a better life. But
Yeah.
for me, as I sit here, I am totally grateful for what the game has provided me with.
Yes.
All the opportunities to travel, meet people, learn different things, learn about different cultures, and definitely always I'm in a space where I'm willing to give back. I do it now informally.
Yes.
It's not something that is out there, but the guys have my number. Guys call me all the time. Guys come and see me all the time, and I guide them. But in an official capacity, definitely, I'll be open to that.
So as you touch on that point there about giving back, cricketers that are making money right now, I know they have their personal life and family to take care of. But do you think that they think about giving back as a priority in their cricketing career right now?
Yeah, a lot of guys get back. It's just not on the front page of the newspaper.
Yes.
Most of the guys that I've interacted with in the Caribbean, they're very selfless.
Yes.
They always do things behind the scene. They help. They always help a lot of people. But it's like I said, it's not documented. It's not done as a political stunt.
Yes.
So a lot of guys help a lot of people. Don't ever underestimate that. Caribbean cricketers, in my estimation, have always helped and brought along other Caribbean cricketers. So that's the one thing I can commend all Caribbean cricketers. Well, maybe not all, but I would say 85% of the Caribbean cricketers that I've interacted with,
Yes.
they're committed to that kind of thing. So don't think that because you don't see it out there that
Yeah,
it's not
because
happening.
yes.
It is happening.
Yes.
So it's sometimes even more than the local boards.
Yes.
Because you would see guys come from nowhere and make it and attribute their success to a particular player and not the board.
Yes.
So how is that possible?
Yes.
That guy was looking after him. That guy was giving him all his kit. That guy was setting him up with a contract
Yeah.
there. That guy was
Making all the steps.
making sure that he has a train at the gym. That guy was, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Taking him along with him every day.
Yes.
Making sure you gain the experience and understand what is required to be a professional.
Yes.
So yeah, I want to continue to applaud the guys for that, and long may it continue.
Yes. So for West Indies now, do you think the next 5, 10 years, do you see we climb up the ladder, whether it be Test cricket or ODI? Where do you see the West Indies cricket the next 10 years from?
Well, you know what? I think doing the same thing over and over, I expect a different result.
Yes.
But I know that's the definition of insanity, right? So until I see certain changes take place
Yeah.
to facilitate growth and a better infrastructure in terms of West Indies cricket, then there's no way for me to think, okay, it's just gonna get better overnight.
Yes.
Like I say, over the last couple of years, I started to see one or two players into county cricket again,
Yes, that's
which is
good.
powerful,
Yes.
especially for the longer format.
Yeah.
You have IPL.
Yes.
Hence why West Indies, under Rovman's leadership, they moved from what ninth to
Third,
third,
yes.
which was that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so you see the exposure. You see when players get exposure, what could be done.
Yes.
But if you give one guy in the team or two guys in the team exposure, what happens to the other nine? You're looking for those two to bring along nine. I mean, it might happen, but
Yeah.
what are the chances?
Yeah. Well, not to get you in too much mix up, but Cricket West Indies recently made the change of Ravman, demoting Ravman Powell, giving Shea Hope the captaincy. Right? I adore Shea Hope, but do you think it was the right time to make this decision?
Well, I mean, it's often never a right time to make a decision. That's the thing about it. You get picked, you get dropped. That's the game, right? I would like to think that they had discussions with Rovman.
Yes.
And I would like to think that they had discussions with Shea. And I also would hate to think that Rovman would then get discarded or him and Shea wouldn't be able to work together. Because that's where we will have a major conflict.
Yes.
Because that's what I've experienced as well. Sometimes when you take the job from me, give it to you without talking to me or without talking to you, then it could create a rift
Yes.
between, and both of us are top players. We both required, we both needed. So then
Yeah.
the team will feel that pressure and then struggle. So I mean, Robin's done well. I don't dispute that. I was actually a bit surprised that that happened.
Yes.
Because I thought Robin was doing a fantastic job. But I also know Shea as a player, who I captained as well, and I know he's quite capable of amazing things.
Yes.
So, unfortunate for Robin, I probably would have done it different. But I don't think it's a horrible move having Shea. I don't like what happened to Robin there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a horrible move having Shea either, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I would love to think that they had talks and everybody came to a conclusion or a good agreement, and the working relationship will not change because Robin is a
Yes.
key player for this team.
One last question, my viewers. What suggestion would you give if Darren Sammy was to call you or Miles Wascom, any one of those guys was to call you and say, Kirk, we want a little bit of advice. What advice would you give to Cricket West Indies that you would like to see change with the players coming up?
I would get I would get more cricketers involved, people with that experience, people that actually
Play the game.
play the game and actually have leadership skills.
Yes.
Because not necessarily because you play the game. Because I might play the game, but I've never captained anyone. I've never had to look left, right to make sure that you're all right. He's all right. Nobody's all right. But what I've seen recently is that the way how things are heading,
Yes.
it's almost like you just go and do a coaching certificate. You get a coaching a level 3 or whatever.
Yes.
So if you're good at academics, you go and study theory of the game, and you get good marks, and you become a level 3 coach. All of a sudden now you're fit to coach a team, but you never even played or experienced certain things in the game.
Yes.
So how are you gonna even know what's required to be a champion in the game?
Yes.
So we have a lot of coaches now who just go because they're good at academics, but they lack the experience, they know how, they don't even have the brain to identify. They don't know what to look for.
Yes.
So how you gonna know what that looks like if you don't even know what it is?
Yes.
So I think that that's one of the major problems that's happening now,
Yes.
right? Because in order for me to select a player, even as a captain, I need to know, okay, this guy is not going to fall under pressure.
Yes.
This guy has the attributes that when he go and gets tough, he's going to step up.
Yes.
They got some guys that they don't excel when things are okay and mediocre, but the moment you put them under pressure, they excel.
Yes.
How do you know that without having that experience?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that I've seen recently that I don't tend to agree with. I think that is a horrible thing to just. Because if you are good at academics,
Yes.
you're going to study that there, you become a coach. What are you going to try to tell me,
Who would actually play in the game?
for how long and got so much overs in my legs and
Yes.
understand strategy? You don't even know what happens after lunch on
Yes.
day 2.
Yeah.
You don't understand when the ball's turning, what to do. You don't know. You understand? You don't know if they score 2 or scores back to back,
Yeah.
facing the same guy that get you twice. How to go about it? You
Yeah.
don't have these experiences, right?
Yes.
So that's why they need to have more mentorship programs. Let's say, okay, you're gonna give a guy a coach because other guys are busy doing other things because we are not. This environment is not the environment. There's no market for us here. That's why we have to go to India. We have to go to the UK. There's no market here for cricket, really.
Yes.
Right? So we're gonna be busy because we got our kids to feed and all that stuff. We
Yes.
got families to look after, right? But mentorship programs, I think, is very important because I might work with you as a coach over a period of time, and what you do, you give me drills, you throw balls at me, yeah. But you can't tell me how to mentally approach a situation.
Yes.
Where does that leave me? A well-drilled player with no mental approach.
Yes.
That equals to failure.
Yes.
So that's what's happening at the moment, from the look of things to me.
So you definitely see where Cricket West Indies need to put more emphasis in getting more fast players and
Mentorship programs. If you don't want to give a guy a coach, because coaching is a bit more than mentorship in terms of organizing programs. I get that. I understand that. Coaching is, entails a bit of, like I said, structuring programs, organization over a period of time, But
Yeah.
a guy like myself who captain a team and thing, in most cases I even captain the coach. I'm
Yeah.
telling the coach what needs to be done.
Yes.
So I know how to tailor things to get the best out of the players that I'm captaining. That's
Yes.
my job because I gotta get the best out of the player, right?
Yes.
So that we become a better team, so that we can win consistently over a period of time, and other people could come and then filter into that winning culture. Because what you want to create is a winning culture. Once you got a winning culture, the guys that are trying to make that team will definitely come in with a winning mindset. Whereas if we got a losing culture, guys that trying to make that team, they're not going to push themselves as hard.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yeah.
it's all about that, and making sure your bench is just as strong as the team that you got over there. Right?
So for persons out there that interested in getting Kirk Edwards to play for them, or so how do they find Kirk?
To play for them, I mean, I don't really play like that. I play masters. I do a little bit of league cricket and stuff like that. But I have an agent, and I'm not very difficult to find.
Okay.
You know, so it's fine. But what I'm into now, like I say, I'm into more like the psychology of the game,
Okay.
mentorship, especially in our society now where the youth they don't have a lot of aspiration. You know, they sort of caught lacking motivation and it's leading them to doing some troublesome things and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
I believe that sport is very important to help in that situation. Right now, sport and music
Yes.
is very because everybody's not going to be academically inclined.
Yes.
I mean, I play sport, you
Yeah.
know, and sport, like I said, teaches discipline.
Yes.
So when you have discipline, you're not going to do certain things outside on the road. You're not going to do certain things. You
Yes.
know? So I think sport, even if a youngster does not make it to the top of his game, if he's exposed to sport at a very young age, it could actually help him in, let's say, whatever job he does. If he doesn't go on, he
Yes.
might become a commentator.
Yes.
He might become a massage therapist.
Yes.
Because so there are many different
Phases.
that he could, or avenues that he could branch out and go into just through having that exposure to sport early.
Yeah.
So sport is very important, and I would always advocate for sport as a sportsman, a former sportsman, former athlete. I would always advocate for sport. I think all governments should, fully push sport and music, crafts, tradesmanship, whatever can, but because it's not all about athletics, it cannot be,
Yes.
right? So these are things because we want to take all of our society. We don't want the kids destroying each other. We want a peaceful place to live.
Yes. Yes.
We want to be living in love. We want that, yourself get grandkids. They don't have to be coming outside living in fear. So
Yes.
we need to address these things, right?
Great. Some of you, I want to thank you so much for staying tuned. Our throat is a bit dry. I want to thank Mr. Kirk Edwards and this opportunity. I'm a junior to him. You understand me? But it's a pleasure coming here to Barbados and interviewing Mr. Kirk Edwards. And I remember that century against New Zealand.
Yeah.
You're playing those flick. I forgot to ask you about the flick shot, but
Flick shot, man. Flick shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that come from how I grew up playing cricket. I was playing in the schoolyard where this side was blocked off, so you couldn't get runs that side.
Yeah.
So the only way you could get some runs is through there.
Flick the
So
shit.
you have to learn to,
Yeah.
maneuver the ball through that side to get runs.
Yes.
That's how I learned that shot.
All right. So players out there, you can get in tune to the flick shot. All right. So Mr. Kirk Edwards, thank you once again, man.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. You understand?
Thank you. Same to
Keep
you.
safe. Jah-P Sports Star.
That's
all right.